Hey guys, this is XRC085 to show you some further testing that I did to my Slash two-wheel drive. As many of you have known, I use my two-wheel drive component to make my two-wheel drive center motor or center line vehicle off-road that I made before, and I also made a video on it. I took everything back. The reason why I did it is because I wanted to see if I could actually do the process of redesigning my own RC and actually getting it done. So I did it, and I just had to revert my Slash two-wheel drive back to original stock. Right now I'm doing testing on it, on suspension, to see what I can use for racing. Um, it's performing okay. I'm gonna say I'm at a 75% standstill, which means that 75% of what I'm doing works, and the rest of it, 30%, is just not cutting it. So I'm still gonna do further testing on it. Did some weight differentials, weight testing on it. I have two batteries on this, and this is only a 3S setup, so I have two cells up here and a three cell on the bottom. I used the two cell for slow testing to see how it handles on corners, see what the reaction I get, and if it sways too much at the rear, if it sways at the side, front or rear, whatever. Or if it slides, as you're going across the corner when you hit the brake and you accelerate. So it did okay in 2S. So I tested on 3S, and it does a little bit more power slide. I'm going to say about 5% power slide. So out of 95%, 5 of it is a little bit of understeering and a little bit of oversteering, which I can fix that. But a lot of it has to do with the rear end. It's not the front end that I'm worried about. When my rear end is definitely kicking to where when it's swaying this way, it's also allowing the vehicle to slide. I don't want that reaction. I want the vehicle to sway, but I don't want it to slide. I want it to maybe slide just a little bit, but this is sliding to the point where it's making the rear end bounce and sliding. And as you can see, the rear end is a little light. So right now, I have the progressive springs in the rear. I have the two-wheel drive aluminum differential case by RPM, and what I did is I reinstalled the rear bumper on here by attaching a plate to the bottom, curling it over, if you can see it right in there, and adding this to hold it in place so that I can jiggle it side to side and be able to have that truck feel to it. The performance on this, if I was to take this to the track, it would definitely be a total failed, because my rear arms are a little loose, both sides. The suspension, like I said, I'm just doing testing right now. The front is good. I'm not worried about the front because the front always did better. The front is the stiffest part of the car, and I like the front. So the front always, and with this bumper that I made, it gives it a good kick. I just don't like the performance of the rear end, so I'm gonna have to further test this out. Probably gonna go through suspension, and I have two more setups that I can do. One of them is gotta fix the problem. I don't want to add any more retainers because that'll raise the height. I don't want this thing to be this high off the ground. I would like the rear end to be lower. The front's gonna be okay, but I like it to be right there, even with it. If I could get it to stay right there, then that would be perfect. So I gotta go a couple adjustments and see what's going on. Maybe get it adjusted right. But right now, I can get rid of the progressive springs. But I'd like them because of the fact that they're soft to absorb dampening good, and it absorbs a lot of kinetic energy. But I don't like the fact that when you're turning, it's going overboard. It's allowing the car to pick up the rear end. So it's kind of like doing this, and it just slides under torque. So if I can get that, which in this case, it's slightly lifting. When it's doing this wheel is lifting because this is dipping too far. You don't want this. You want a little bit of this, like maybe like this. But you don't want too much. This is way too much. You're looking at dipping to the extreme. Like one little dip and hits the ground. See that? Slow motion. It hits the ground. You don't want to know what ground hit it. You just want the car to be good. So what I've did is I designed this here. This is called a weight distributor. You attach this to this like this. And what it does, it distributes the weight evenly throughout the car. So if I'm racing, I can attach a couple of pounds of weight on here that'll allow the car to stay at all times on the ground. Not only does it stay on the ground, but it stabilizes the rear end only after you have the right amount of suspension travel and the right amount of strength on the suspension. So testing is done when you have this on to see what suspension you want to use for it or not. And it's also my 2S LiPo battery up here. So yeah, this can flip over. If it flips over, it's fine. It's not going to fall. It's got lock-ins there. I'll keep it from going out. But yeah, you could turn it around. So yeah, that's about it, guys. That's all I got. My 2-wheel drive slash. That's it. Enter.